welcome back to my channel. My name is Remna, and in today's video I will be talking about all the books I read in January. So the first book I'll be talking about is Slam Dunk Volume 23, the actual volume I was supposed to get, and I am just so happy that I read this volume. This volume was so good. It was so engaging, so fun, just like literally the anime and probably all the other volumes as well. And there's new characters now, and again they're continuing on with the basketball games and whatnot, and just seeing like Sakuragi like improve his basketball skills and like get closer to his teammates and like really try to understand how to play basketball right is just like so heartwarming. And seeing him struggle too, and him just messing around with the coach and whatnot, like it's just so fun seeing him. But it's also fun seeing like his friends support him, and again we have like new characters involved. It's not like before where Sakuragi-kun, he's kind of playing but not really knowing how to play really well. But now in this volume his skills improve a lot more. However, the tension and the gravity or the weight of his skills truly matters at this point, like in this volume, and most likely continuing on. So yeah, I can't wait to read the rest of the volumes. I absolutely love this one. Like I felt like I was watching the anime and it got me laughing. Like I was like late at night reading my book and I'm just like, this is so funny. But yeah, I love them so much. I love everybody, Sakuragi-kun and his team members, the coach, just his friends, everybody. So the next book I'll be talking about is Last Quarter by Ayazawa. I love this one so much. Like Nana's number one for me, and then there's Last Quarter. Last Quarter I love because it's just so different. Like it is still like a love story technically, but it includes like supernatural and ghosts and like heaven and just so many other factors. And then there's so many like good and funny characters, and it is just so like, it was a very like refreshing plot. And like it just felt different, like the way she was telling the story, and then the like characters that she introduces, and then the concept that she puts in. And there was just so much irony in this book that I just loved it. I loved everything. I just loved the way she just designed this story and whatnot. There's never a point while I was reading that I felt like it was boring or it was lagging on. Like every page felt important. Every page felt very like engaging, and every page felt like it had something to offer. So I cannot wait for volume 2 and then volume 3, which is the last one. I saw somewhere it said that volume 2 was the last one, but I don't think so, because I saw on Goodreads and it shows 3 volumes, and also I think on Google Books it shows 3 volumes, so I'm pretty sure there's 3 volumes. But anyways, can't wait for volume 2. So the next book that I read in the month of January is Aisha, the Wife, the Companion, and the Scholar. So with this one, I really liked how it was very informative about her and just the things that were going on around her. It provided a lot of context of the past. It provided a lot of information about how things were back then, and some of the customs and whatnot, and some of the stuff that like she grew up around. And it was also very informative on how she lived with the Prophet ﷺ and the things that she observed from his actions, the things that she adapted. The author discussed the things that Aisha had to let go of whilst being the wife of the Prophet ﷺ. For example, like not really having gold, and avoiding to accept gifts that may incline her to being attached towards this world, and other things like that. And so it was very interesting, and I feel like there was a lot of things that I didn't know, and at first I had a bit of a hard time understanding, but as I read through and I thought about it more, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Another thing that I love so much that this book did very well was to clear up the whole age debate. When it comes to talking about Islam, I feel like the one thing that people who are either not Muslim or sometimes even Muslim themselves or are ex-Muslims love to argue is that the Prophet ﷺ, he married Aisha at a very alarmingly young age. Down the facts that okay, listen, technically speaking, everybody in the whole entire world at that point in time was marrying young. It wasn't even just older men marrying younger women, but it was also older women marrying younger men, or young people getting married at a really early age in general. And this book basically cleared up the fact that she technically, when you put historical context to play, she would have been 17 when she got married to him. The debate about her age, really, there's a lot of context to be taken into play. It's the fact that okay, culturally speaking, that was a normal thing. In the societal sense, it was normal. Globally, probably at the time, not just in Saudi Arabia, but also in other parts of the world, it was probably a normal thing too. Basically, from this book, the only thing that was a downside for me was that I didn't feel like I knew too much still about Aisha. I know that sounds weird, but it's I feel like it talked about generally who she was as a person and talked more about her with the Prophet ﷺ and how she lived with him, and just, you know, like that she was very smart, she was very educated. Everyone went to her for knowledge. Even after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, she still lived the same life that she did with him. I feel like the author took the time to really dive into like what her day-to-day was, you know, her life maybe before the Prophet ﷺ, or maybe her life like when she was just by herself. Or I feel like there was not too much depth about her. It felt very, at times, a bit shallow, and then there was sometimes, especially towards the end, where it kind of felt repetitive, where it felt like the author just kept talking about how smart she was, how honorable she was, and didn't really expand much about her. So yeah, that's my only, like, I guess, thing that I didn't like, but it's a very minute thing. I still gave this book like a 4 out of 5 stars, so I really liked it, but it was just that factor that I felt like I thought I was going to get from this book, but I just didn't. Next, I read 2 volumes of Uso Toki Rhetoric. I read volume 4 and 5, and I mentioned this book in my best and worst books of 2024. That was one of them that I absolutely loved. It was very engaging. It's about like mystery and like this girl named Kanako who can tell lies, and she's with a detective named Mr. Iwata, and she basically helps him, you know, solve mysteries and whatnot that are going around in town. It was just, again, so good, so engaging. And there's a character that comes at the end of volume 5 that has me like, I don't know, like something about him is different. It's like, that means like funny, but not funny, haha, funny, weird. Like that's what it is, basically. That's the type of energy he's like giving. The last set of, well, it's a series that I finished in the month of January, is called Life. Oh my gosh, this one, for a good few nights, I ate up this manga series. Like, basically it has volume 1 to 20, read it all, like I binged this, I ate it up. I was like, oh my gosh. To me, Life is like Nana, but make it high school, but make it more dramatic, add a little bit of more mental health issue. That is Life. Like, that is Life. And my goodness, this one was so good. And it was like, it felt like I was reading like Ayazawa's work. Got our main character, right? And, you know, she has her best friend, and they're planning both to like go to, this high school. She's not really that smart, but her best friend is, and so her best friend kind of helps her with her homework and whatnot. But then things kind of turn around when the MC does really well, but her best friend doesn't, and so she doesn't get to go into the high school that she wants to. And this then leads the MC to feel like depressed, and she does some things towards herself. On the screen, I'm gonna put like the trigger warnings, because like I say this, there's just a lot of heavy themes in this book. If any of these things are uncomfortable for you, I wouldn't suggest reading this book, because it does get pretty heavy pretty quickly. It can definitely turn off some people, but for me it was very enjoyable, because I feel like there aren't a lot of books that cover so many of, like, you know, mental health and just issues in general that like adolescents, but also even like people in general face. And I feel like this book really broke down just like it just felt really real. It wasn't like, again, very like out of touch. I mean, towards the end it was a little bit dramatic with some of, like, you know, like the fight scenes and whatnot, but other than that it was pretty realistic in terms of like portraying like how, you know, somebody who engages in like, you know, causing harm to themselves, like how their thought process is, how the thought process of someone who is, you know, depressed and other types of things. So I definitely think that this book is such a great, in a weird way, like advocate for mental health and for, you know, stopping bullying and speaking up. And there was a lot of things, especially with the main character, that I feel like I could relate to, like wanting to please people, wanting to fit in, and kind of just saying things that you don't necessarily mean, but you just say them because you know other people are gonna like it, and it's gonna earn you some, I guess, social points. I can understand where she was coming from, because I was there at one point. This book also brought so much like anger within me. Like, there was the bullies in this, absolute like demons from hell. Like, they escaped from hell and they were just running wild on earth. Like, oh my goodness, these bullies were demons. So yeah, this book did a really good job at making me angry. But I still loved it, and I still felt like it was, again, so real, so honest. So that's it for this video. Currently I'm reading volume 6 of Usotoki Rhetoric, and there's some books that I am waiting to come because it's gonna be my birthday soon. Oh my gosh, February people, where you at? Yeah, I'm a February baby, so I can't wait for that. And yeah, I'll definitely be doing a book haul for that. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to do it. If there are any books that you enjoyed during the month of January, or if there's any books that you did not enjoy in the month of January, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.